So recently you must have came across some reels, videos, or maybe other types of media about one of our neighbors. No, not that one, but to the side. Yep, China. Currently, what we see of China is fancy dramas, tasty Chinese cuisine, big cities where YouTubers and influencers are all going right now. Like the city of Chongqing, Beijing, Shanghai, or maybe Chinese products, and especially known for being former most populated country in the world. But under all of these reels showing exponential growth in workforce, environment, education, and also standing power with the superpower USA, do you ever wonder how did China reach this far? How does things actually work in China? So for today, we are going to dive deeper into that because it's history time. Their history can be broken down into sections like prehistoric, ancient, imperial, and modern China. China emerged from the banks of the Yellow River or Huang Valley, and during prehistoric era till like 2000 BC, Yellow, Yangtze and Lao civilizations lived in China along with respective rivers. As you know, at that time people mostly lived near river banks, and even for prehistoric times they had pretty rich culture. They invented the oracle bone script, which was like the oldest form of written Chinese. Now the ancient China started with the Xia dynasty. It was like till 1600 BC, which was like the earliest of the main three ones: Xia, Shang, and Zhao dynasty. My pronunciations might be a bit off, so I'm sorry for that. A series of at least 29 kings reigned over the Shang dynasty. And the Zhao dynasty was like the longest dynasty in all of Chinese history. It's from about 1046 BC to about 256 BC. This was the time in which a very concept of mandate of heavens was implemented actually. Now what that means is if you are a good ruler, the heavens will be on your side and everything and everyone will be happy and live in prosperity. But if, God forbid, you are a bad ruler, heavens will be against you and everything will just go downhill, like famines, earthquakes, and you know what? That gives full right to the people of China to overthrow your government. Yep, and that means the heavens will be on their side, not on yours, if you're a bad ruler, that is. Imperial China. Now, the Imperial China, which starts from 221 BC with Xin rule to Qing rule, like it's a very long time period, so I'm just cutting it a bit short for you to understand, which stayed till modern times like 1912. This time period, China goes through several civil wars, overthrowing governments, etc. I'm just brushing over the history, but if you want, I can totally make a video on like just the history of China, all the kings, all what happened from the starting, okay? We can do that. So tell me in the comments about that. After the imperial rule, the modern Chinese era started, in which it was first like named as the Republic of China from 1912 to 1949, and then the People's Republic of China since like 1914 to present time. Even though Yuan Shikai tried to bring monarchy back and making himself the emperor in 1915, after his death in 1916, yeah, just after a year later, the power vacuum was left. And then came the World War One, in which China stood as like neutral, but the US urged every neutral country to become allies because Germany used unrestricted submarine warfare. So yeah, they had to get involved in World War One, even though they didn't want to. Then World War Two came. Sorry, I'm skipping a bit, I know, but I can't just, China is a really old country and I can't just fit everything into one video, okay? So just bear with me. Now we are at World War Two, in which Sino-Japanese War emerged. Japan and China had a really long history. They tried to like overtake each other in different eras, but right now the World War Two was the worst because Chinese was the one getting invaded this time. The Japanese took over China's city Nanjing, and then they committed horrific war crimes against the people of Nanjing, which later became to known as the Nanjing massacre. Of course, Japan refuses to take responsibility for till date. After all of that, China became the People's Republic. The People's Republic of China then adopted its current constitution on 4th of December 1982. Finally, the country joined the World Trade Organization in 2001. By 1997 and 1999, former European colonies of British Hong Kong and Portuguese Macau became special administrative regions of People's Republic of China, respectively. So that's China's history. I might be wrong somewhere. Please feel free to correct me, okay? Don't hesitate. But what about now? China's current standing is that they are one of the many global superpowers, including USA and Russia. Three of them are like the top students of the class. China is the second largest economy of the world. Their rapid growth in tech, education, healthcare, and even entertainment. See dramas. Earlier, when people used to like hear China or Chinese products, they would think of subpar products which would get damaged very easily. But now China stands very strong with their technological advancements, powerful phones, laptops, independent social media network, drone and other revolutionary ideas. Well, of course, all of that independent social network shit is to regulate their own people, controlling their lives. But at least they're not influenced by, foreign powers, and they have like full control over their own country. At least someone learned from their mistakes. China has been pushing many eco-friendly policies, like making electric cars like, the norm in their country. I think electric cars are like more cheaper than the fuel ones there. Government deliberately pushes young minds by improving public education, which is provided by the government. They are improving on that level from the ground up. Yeah, it's not like, oh, I have to do masters to be actually in master of something. That's why Chinese students are so smart. They had made their education system so strong that they don't have to seek private schools for good education, like go to other country to pursue good education. They can just get it there in China. Of course, it's not all sunshines and rainbows in China. China is not a very great country. To be honest, no country is a great country. Like, the perfect country to live in. No country is like that. Let me tell you that much. They highly regulate their own people, and like they have very strict punishment just for standing against the government and collecting sensitive foreign information. To be honest, every country does that. The CIA does that. I think the China also does that. After COVID-19, China literally saw the downfall of people's opinion regarding them all over the world. Their reputation was all time low. Xenophobia arose in almost every part of the country. They literally got famous for being the bat eating country. Not just Chinese, but actually every other nationality who looked like Chinese were like getting abused physically or verbally on the streets in America and Canada, which was horrifying to see. However, after all of that, when they finally opened their doors again, I guess almost 5 years later, they opened direct flights from India to China, because before that you can't take like a direct flight from India to China or China to India. I guess you had to take a detour or something. I never flew internationally, guys. Please just correct me if I'm wrong. So when they finally opened up their doors, everyone was like going crazy, because all the TikToks, all the YouTube videos started to flow in. I have never seen those videos before. Maybe, I don't know, my algorithm changed, but I started to see many vlogs from students, people who are working in China from my country, showing how great China is in fields of infrastructure, education, and every other thing. This made everyone like question. Everyone who was outside of China, might be people in the West, but especially in India, people have started to open their eyes. They started to see China and ask questions here, like, why can't we solve problems that China has solved like 10 years ago in their own country? We have AQI issues right now. China has solved it in, I guess, 2015 or something around that time. Why can't we do that? Why can't we implement EV cars? The people started to ask, if China's education system is so good that they don't have to rely on privatization of schools, why can't we do the same? That's what people have been asking after watching these videos. See, there are problems in every country, let me tell you that. China is not like the best country in the world. See, it's just simple. China has good PR. Soft power really matters a lot. We have seen this in the case of, South Korea, how like a very few people knew South Korea before the Hallyu wave started to come in, BTS, Blackpink, all those K-pop, K-dramas, everything K-beauty started to flow in. I think soft power really matters a lot. India really needs to, grab the that soft power which we had actually. People used to come to India, foreign people really used to come to India, to gain spirituality, peace, and everything. But now I think the PR is like against us. I don't know. It's very anti-India. Like, oh, India is just dirty. It's just unhygienic, everything is bad, people are bad. See, I know, I just said that all the countries have their setbacks, and of course I'm not saying anyone that, oh, we will just stay the same. I think we all should change. We all should change for the better, for the good, so that these stereotypes could be broken. So, what can we learn from this? I don't know, man. I just wanted to make a fun video on China because I was like curious about them myself. So, I just thought, why not make a video on it, okay? But yeah, we should learn from China in, fixing our civic sense, corruption, education, and healthcare, which is really needed for our country right now. In this video, I really went on surface level to compare China and India. If you want like a totally detailed video of me talking about, healthcare, education, corruption, and every other aspect of what a country should be, and compare these two countries, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.